So I went to Charlotte this weekend, and it's about 25 minutes from where I live, but I grew up there, and anytime I go into Charlotte, I have a lot of memories come back, and sometimes I take the exact exits that I would take to get to the NICU every morning to be with Sophia, and then I pass the children's hospitals that she would be at and have surgeries, and so a memory popped into my mind, and I'm not sure I've told this before, but I am the reason that she was diagnosed with her rare condition. I often see people, say, oh, Google's diagnosing people, and people rolling their eyes at it, but it really can help. And I remember Sophia was 2, and she had been doing great. And I would take her to the grocery store or musical therapy that she loved, and we would go out and do things. And probably 80% of the time, she would catch something and get sick. And I thought that was a little odd, but we continued on with our life. And then she started to get these low-grade fevers that wouldn't go away. And I remember trying to figure it out and being told, well, maybe this is just her regular temperature. And then it would spike, and then it would go down. And so I was constantly keeping track. I knew something wasn't right, that she had never had this in the first 2 years of her life. And she would just have these spikes and wouldn't feel well. And I remember having to go make appointments with a specialist here and there, and having weeks in between, sometimes months in between, before you could see specialists. And I told her pediatrician, let's just admit her to the hospital and get testing done so that we don't have to wait around. She's not getting better. She's having these spikes more frequently. And her pediatrician was always amazing. And she said, yes, let's do this. And they started to run tests, and nothing was coming back. And I remember one of the other pediatricians that I would see when her regular pediatrician wasn't there, he came in, and I had been doing research, and I said to him, I really want to test for an immune deficiency. And I think she has an immune deficiency. And he said, that's highly unlikely. It's very rare. And I'm thinking, my daughter is very rare. So it's highly likely that she has other rare things going on. And, I think he had told me the story about how doctors are taught to look for the horse, not the zebra, with symptoms, and, don't just go straight to the rare thing. But he said, what, let's test. And it came back that she had a rare immune deficiency, and one extremely rare, because not only did she have some of the levels that were extremely low, she had no B cells. And our body has NK cells, T cells, B cells, and they all have a function of fighting off certain diseases and germs and viruses and those types of things. And so she was low in NK cells and 0 B cells. And so we went to see an immunologist and did all of that. And so she began treatment of immunoglobulin replacement therapy, which is something they extract from blood. And I was taught how to give her infusions every week, and it did help some. But I remember going to the pediatrician's office sometime after that, and I was seeing that same pediatrician, and he was just really sweet and apologized for telling me that he didn't think it was that, and he was just really genuine, and I loved him. He was an amazing pediatrician, and I just thought it was really sweet that he took the time to apologize, that he, was not necessarily against testing, but just saying that it's highly unlikely that it was going to be that, but it was that. And then later down the road, a scientist had discovered a handful of other people that had a rare immune deficiency with 0 B cells, and he did research for years and years and years, and it wasn't until my daughter died that he published it and gave it a name, and it is the thing that caused the facial differences and differences to her hands and her feet. So I just thought that was a really interesting memory that popped up, but always follow your intuition.